Thank you, Lusani. Good evening, everybody. As Lusani mentioned earlier, that I'm involved in more than one jurisdiction. As a matter of fact, I've been exposed to over 30 countries between the Arab world and Africa. And I would like to mention that we have to differentiate, at least I need to differentiate between Anglophone systems and Francophone systems. So I will not dwell on the Francophone except in particular case, which I will come to later on. So let's stick to Anglophone countries. And exactly like Muhammad was mentioning earlier, there are challenges because many people are studying in their own countries but working outside their countries. And in the weaknesses, I don't want to say use weaknesses. I've stepped in on so many toes lately. I would rather not talk about weaknesses. Many regulators in different jurisdictions, they don't have the capacity to assess if somebody is an actuary or not an actuary. So they rely on credentials, international credentials. And in Anglophone countries, they find the easy way out is to say anybody who is a fellow of the Institute of Actuary, Institute and Faculty of Actuary, or fellow of the Society of Actuaries, they can practice in our countries. And they left it to the actuary himself on professional level to say if that person is familiar with the regulation of that country or not, but they didn't put any specification to that effect. So this will bring me now to the subject matter, which is universities and syllabus. Because of this, we realize, at least in the countries I operate in or I'm exposed in, students, while they are in the universities, they are unable to really pay for actuarial exams. Here, I'd like to announce to everybody in this panel, if you are in Africa, in East Africa in particularly, we have announced as Muhanna Foundation, we pay 50% of the actuarial exams at the Society of Actuaries or the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries while the student is still a student. Moreover, after graduating within the first year of employment, we will also pay 50% of their exams if their employer does not pay for their exam. This will at least kickstart the student to take exams while he is still a student to get the right tracking into his career path. This is, we thought, is very, very important. And this will help the universities to realize that they should encourage students to take actuarial exams while they are still students, because if they have to wait till they graduate and then they get carried away with the workload, they may not start again. And this is what we realize, that people are not starting again to take actuarial exams. I'm very happy to announce that the Society of Actuaries have allowed us to have centers. We started a center in Tanzania. They do have a center in Kenya to also minimize the cost incurred by students to sit for exams. And we hope that we have more centers for both the society or the institute in at least East Africa, the countries we operate in. This is something that I want to stress very much. Now, as far as Francophone countries, which Lebanon is one of them, but primarily we are exporting our talents outside Lebanon, which means we are exporting our Lebanese actuarial students to Saudi Arabia, to Bahrain, to Jordan, which is Anglophone countries. Unfortunately, most of these students, although they study in English, but they are not consulted correctly by their university to take the Anglophone exams, the Society of Actuary or the Institute and Faculty of Actuary. This is something we are encouraging, although they are Francophone, they are being qualified in France, but we have to tell them that to really sign as an actuary in the Arab world, whether in Jordan or Saudi Arabia and so on forth, it takes very much to convince the regulator that yes, we are belong to the German or to the Belgian or to any full member association of the IAA, and we are equal to everybody else. They don't want to bother with that, although the law allows them to accept. The laws, the regulation allow them to accept, an actuary outside the being a FSA or FIO. So we have to realize that we should make it easy for these students. They should sit for exams and we help them through it. And this is where they are all talented students. They lack the money. We do it. I have communicated with both the Society of Actuary and the Institute of Actuary that there is other limitation for these students are because they are sitting for exams and English is not their mother tongue. And I was hoping through the IAA to urge both the society and the institute to allow a little bit more time for at least the first 2-3 exams for students where English is not their mother tongue. So it's not enough to be able to pay. We want them to pass. And we read slower. I mean, I'm one of them. English is not my mother tongue. I read slower than other people that English is their mother tongue, and I write slower. And so it is difficult for us to pass exams, and it will be very interesting to look if the society is willing to share with us their experience about people that sit for exam where English is not their mother tongue. What is their success passing rate compared to other English speaking people? So these are the things that in education is very important. Last but not least, most universities in the region that I am exposed to do not have full-time actuaries in their academia and among their professors. Many of them, they use part-time practicing actuary. They come and lecture. But I believe there should be at least one full-time actuary, and maybe this is something in the past. The Actuary Without Borders, they were donating or volunteering to become actuaries in some of these universities. I don't know if the IAA still have that kind of support system to the universities where have some retired academic actuaries from the Anglo-Saxon. I'm still saying only this region that I'm aware of, which is an Anglo-Saxon, to have from South Africa, from Kenya, there are many good academia over there. Are we able to finance, because some of the university are unable to pay money for these people or to pay the residents and so on and so forth. Thank you very much, Lusani.
All right. No, thank you. I think you've made some valid points there, so we will pick them up as we go.